Good day, everyone. I am Max, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone to today's webinar, NACHA 2026 ACH Fraud Rules, What Banks and FinTech Must Get Right. I want to introduce our presenter for today, Justin T. Moscolino. Justin brings over 20 years of wide-ranging experience in compliance, training, and regulation. He has previously served as head of compliance training for Mercury Group, UBS, JB Morgan Chase, Bank of China, and GRC Solutions. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Justin.
Thank you very much, Max. And I want to welcome everybody to today's training for NACHA, a little overview and rule update. There is a lot going on in the NACHA world, specifically this year, mostly because of the rise of fraud. Fraud is making a big dent in what we do as far as containing risk with payments and really anything else. With that being said, what we'll do first is we'll go through a little overview of ACH and NACHA. Again, everybody's level of experience in this call is different, so we're going to start from the beginning, just build up over this time. We'll talk a little bit about the NACHA offers, but I really want to talk about the current fraud threats and updates. NACHA's released a number of white papers and articles on this over the last year that I feel that are absolutely required reading. Then we'll go into the recent regs, proposals, and future regulations. So first and foremost, let's touch on what ACH is. So the automated clearinghouse. This is like one of the most important components of our payment system that we have here in the US. So, and it's been around for decades. This was established in the early 70s. And since then, ACH has, really changed the dynamic in payments. Now, the process does involve some key participants. So you have the originator, which is an individual, a business, or a government agency that essentially initiates the transaction. This could be like, an employer sending payroll funds. Now, on one side, is the originator, and it's called the Originating Depository Financial Institution, or the ODFI. Now, this could be a bank, credit union that receives payments or payment instructions from the originator and then submits it to the ACH network. Now, an ACH operator, they could be the Federal Reserve or a clearinghouse, really acting as like the central facility. So they receive batches from the ODFIs, sort them, and then deliver them to the receiving banks. Now, the receiving bank is called the RDFI, Receiving Depository Financial Institution. And, once they receive it, reconcile the account, we're good to go. The process ends. So the National Automated Clearinghouse Association, NACHA. So this is the governing body that oversees the ACH network. And it's, one of the most critical payment infrastructures that we have here in the US. Now, one of NACHA's most important responsibilities is the implementation and creation of the risk management framework for the network. So first, the risk management portal. This came about, I would say, about a year and a half ago, and it was upgraded. So now it includes all the necessary information members need to apprise other members. Now, the RMAG group, this group is phenomenal. Now, current threats. This is a big to-do. Make sure that you take a look at these when you get a chance, because the more educated you are on these, the more easier it will be to implement NACHA's, current changes for 2026. Now, the risk management framework. Now, NACHA continuously updates the framework, and it's really based on the upcoming releases. Now, I do want to mention, now there are other releases that do coincide with NACHA or are involved in the payments arena, and these are important to know. First off, all of these changes were made with fraud in mind. Now, we're going to take a lot closer look to see, what's on the horizon. And thank you for attending today.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you all of the participants for the participating in this webinar. And this concludes the session for you today. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead.